Jacob in Japan, written by Mora Soan, illustrated by Lana Preep and Ewan Grissom. Jacob in Japan, read by Robert Rutherford. For Brandon and Lana, with you, everything is possible. I love you forever, MS. John, happy reading. Mora Soan. Jacob in Japan. Hidden above New York, on the rooftop of a skyscraper, lived a gnome named Jacob. Jacob was a picky eater. He ate the same boring food all his gnome life. He cooked what he planted in his enchanted garden. I could not, I cannot, and I will not try anything else, Jacob chanted. Around the clock, Jacob weeded and watered his bed of lavender and dahlias. Next to the flowers were his favorite vegetables, cucumbers, snow peas, and green beans. Strawberries and tomatoes embraced the sun and shined like rubies. At night, when stars lit up the sky, the smell of fresh lavender tickled Jacob's nostrils. Achoo! Achoo! Jacob sneezed. Jacob wanted to travel the world, but his narrow taste buds stopped him from following his dream. Poor Jacob was forever tied to his home. One windy night, clumsy Jacob tumbled over into a magic flower pot. Where do you think the flower pot took him? Bonsai! Jacob woke up in Japan. Jacob followed a crowd of people in their kimonos walking through the shop-lined street and Asakusa. The freshly toasted rice crackers enticed Jacob to the stand. Looking at the crunchy cheek treats, Jacob's stomach grumbled. Konnichiwa, shouted the merchant. Do you want to try some rice crackers called senbei? The merchant handed a piece of cracker for Jacob. I could not, I cannot, and I will not try anything else, Jacob chanted. But he was hungry and reached for the cracker. Sniff, sniff, nip, nip. Jacob got a free bag of senbei. He opened it and took a small bite. Yum, yum, yum. Those crackers are the best things I ever ate, Jacob mumbled. He shoved the rest of them in his mouth. Crunch, 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 crunch. Now Jacob needed a glass of water to wash down the crackers. He saw a tea house with a vending machine inside. He ran straight to it. He walked over to the vending machine. He bought a cup of mugicha. I could not, I cannot, I will not try anything else, Jacob chanted. But he was extremely thirsty, so slowly he sipped the hot tea. He was amazed by its aroma. So satisfying, Jacob said. The seafood stands caught Jacob's attention. Giant lobsters, snow crabs, and fish swarm in an ice-cold tank. A master chef carefully handmade pressed sushi, sashimi, and uni and placed them on a wooden boat. Jacob looked with wide eyes at the colorful rolls. I could not, I cannot, and I will not try anything else, Jacob chanted. but he hesitated for a second and popped one into his mouth. Wow, this is a delicacy, Jacob sighed. Jacob was excited. With all the new flavors, he wanted to try more. He pointed at a giant picture of a lobster on the wall. The cook rang a bell for the food to be served. A hot plate of steamed lobster came right through the kitchen door. The smell of the lobster made Jacob's nose go insane. I could not, I cannot, I will not try anything else, Jacob chanted, but he impulsively dug into the lobster claws. He licked his teeny tiny fingers in delight. Next, a giant bowl of miso ramen. I could not, I cannot, I will not try anything else, Jacob chanted. But with his chopsticks ready, Jacob dug into the noodles and slurped it down. Yum, yum, shouted Jacob. Jacob skipped through the streets of Asakusa. He came across a mochi house. He looked at the window and saw all of the colorful mochi. He entered the shop, and a woman in a red apron greeted him with a smile. Konbanwa, mochi to go? The woman asked. A musical conveyor belt of sweet mochi rice cakes filled with red bean paste, green tea, and strawberries paraded in front of Jacob's eyes. I could not, I cannot, I will not try anything else, Jacob chanted. But he gobbled each one until the last mochi cake disappeared from his plate. Jacob had to loosen his belt and realized how much food he had eaten. Now he needed a nap. He unlocked the gate of a beautiful park. Persimmon trees lined the sidewalks with orange fruits. Jacob stood on a bridge. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept him into the pond. Splash! For a second, everything went blue and gray. Jacob opened his eyes slowly. He recognized the familiar smell of lavenders on his rooftop garden in New York City. Picky Jacob couldn't believe he ate so many incredible foods in Japan. Even though he might burp for a few days, Jacob was happy to be home. While enjoying his garden, he thought about the magic flower pot. Where will it take him next? The end. Jacob goes to Japan.